Vengeance of the Moon Knight, issue number 9. That's right, folks. It's this issue of Moon Knight, the finale to Vengeance. Don't worry. Next month, we're going straight into Fist of Khonshu. Never ends, does it? Which is exciting. It's really cool that this is actually happening, that this character continues to be this strong and prevalent and can do this amazing thing. So this kind of ties up the loose end of the Shroud becoming Moon Knight, which does feel kind of intermediate when it's like we could have just kind of jumped from Blood Hunt into Fist of Khonshu. So Vengeance, to me, that means this concept is selling good. And they can tease you for a little bit by saying there's a new Moon Knight, so we can have Marc come back and do a big thing. Because this book and these 9 issues, you could have easily just relaunched the title with Fist. But doing this, it means the book's doing good. That's how I'm taking it. This wraps up the one specific storyline. And that makes sense to me. You know, this is kind of like the first time we're really seeing the effects of a Khonshu out of prison in the entirety of the Jed MacKay run. He's been in prison kind of since the beginning. Now he's out because of Blood Hunt. And we're seeing something that happened in issue 11 of Moon Knight. So if you remember, when Reese was kind of dying and things were going bad, Marc called upon Khonshu to save her, and I will give you something in return. It always comes with a price, and now he has to repay that price. So we cut to the present, and Marc is just walking down the streets next to the Midnight Mission. Reese runs up to him just being like, you're kind of burning the candle at both ends. I know you've been back from the dead and you're kind of going hard. It's all right to take a break. You're doing all this stuff for everybody. You're fixing sinks for people in the area. Just take a minute. I like that we're quietly and slowly building up the dynamic and relationship here. These two are a lot more friendly now. I'd say it's kind of like a different approach to the characters, but it's been MacKay writing them from the beginning, so they're a little more sibling-like and friendly. It's kind of nice to see that. And as they continue talking, we see that Reese's speech bubbles kind of dissipate and you can't really understand what's being said. And then Khonshu's voice creeps over talking more she doesn't know, does she, what you did? So she'd live the way you gave over a part of yourself for her? I gave you her life. You owe me a debt. You owe me a life. So I gave her you. So I gave you hers. Now you owe me. Really cool. This is the creepy presence of Khonshu that we've kind of been lacking from this run. It's back now. We then cut to Marc and Badir as they are just on patrol. He's asking about the Shroud and how he became Moon Knight, where he's held up. And this is it. Finally, the Moon Knight that we've known and loved since the 80s is going to fight the Imposter Moon Knight that we've known about for a couple of issues. They're going to have their big action sequence. Badir figures it out right away that Marc has to do something because Khonshu is free. He begged for Reese's life. Now this is what he does. He has to figure out that way. So Marc just randomly finds the Shroud. I'm just going to call him the Shroud. It's a Moon Knight, it makes sense. Marc calls him Moon Knight throughout the book too. He's a broken, defeated guy, just literally on the ground, you're back. It's you. Oh, cool. Dude, I made a mistake. I figured out this was the wrong thing to do. Marc tells him to put on the mask. He's like, come on, put on the mask. You don't understand. I understand you taking my name. You offend my friends by doing that. Sure. Then you offended a god. And gods are not happy about stuff like this. So whatever happens between you and me right here, right now, a Moon Knight must die. So put on the mask and we'll do it. And you just kind of see, the Shroud's not happy with it, but he's going to do it. And we just get some beautiful, beautiful looking artwork with some really good coloring. The coloring's incredible. You have two characters that are clouded in white and black. So you have to make them stand out in some way. I think this book does a really good job of doing that. It looks great. And Marc keeps telling him, you were for the cult of Kali. Do you think she'd be happy with what you've done? Or do you think she'd understand how things are when you piss off a god? Do you think that's how it'd be? The fight gets brutal. We're doing some different type of page layout than what we've seen from this book normally. A lot more angular and just kind of curved looks. It's really fun. Looks really cool. It's just highlighted with these orange backgrounds. It looks really fun. And you see the Shroud kind of connect to the dark force that he has the power of. and it's not doing good to him. No, he uses it, does nothing, starts to vomit because of the events that happened in Blood Hunt. It's not going great. Then we just get like a huge page where they're fighting, and it's kind of awesome. It's like so distinctive, and like this panel layout we're not normally used to seeing for this book. And there is kind of a bit of like these characters look the same, and they're just beating each other up. You can tell who's who, but from a distance you'd be like, wait, why are these like smudges just fighting? It looks pretty fun though. Ultimately, that sequence ends. Marc's like over top of him, his hands on his throat, and you just see like the hands fall, the rain comes down, and he does it. He kills him. And Badir's now standing overhead, just looking on like, he's dead, I've done it, brother. We then cut to the bar with no name, where all the villains are hanging out, villains that you know the name of. There's a lot of like named ones in there. Suddenly the door opens, and Marc walks in dressed as Mr. Knight, and he's like, yeah, it's actually me. I've been gone for a while, but don't forget I always come back. Moon Knight always comes back. Nothing can kill me. But there was a guy running around using my name, and can't say the same about him. He's not going to come up. He's not going to come back. So I'm going to say this right now, just so we have our understanding. Stay out of my territory, and we're going to be fine. And then Marc like uses like the moon daggers to like pin up the costume of the imposter Moon Knight in the bar and just like walks out, which is that's just badass. This is the stuff where you're like, yep, this is it. You want to make Moon Knight popular in the Marvel universe. How you do it is literally have him threaten every single like minor villain, so like no one's gonna mess with him. It's a really cool idea. I respect it and think it's incredible. That's the stuff, you know, that Jed McKay's like, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. It's all about territory for Marc, you know? It's like you are under the moon's watch. The moon is always there. He's going to protect you and be there, vigilant no matter what. We then cut to the Midnight Mission, and we see that the Shroud is alive. He's not dead. And he's like, what just happened? Marc's like, look, I did what I said. I killed you. Moon Knight did die, and then we saved your life. Badir here helped, bring you back to life. And Badir's like, I do not like what we're doing here, brother. This is a dangerous game. He's like, yeah, it's a dangerous game, but we have to play it. And we won. We got Max, and now he can live on, do the work, get better, get help, be a better version of himself. So maybe he's going to become a supporting character. We'll see. We then cut to later sometime, and Khonshu's like, you think you're so clever. Marc goes, no, I don't think I'm clever. I'm not going to be your dog who murders people. You owe me a life, and I gave you a life. He died. You know, the imposter Moon Knight's dead. He's never going to return. That's how we're going to do things now, Khonshu. I'm not concerned with what you think or what you want. This doesn't matter. You know, I gave you the sacrifice. You had it. A debt for a debt, an eye for an eye. We're all square. You know, the imposter skin, it hangs in the place of the people who want to do damage to what we do, and I'm still fighting for you. And just know, Khonshu, my daddy old boy, if you threaten Reese or any of my people again, I will come for you, and I will make sure you know what I'm about. That's awesome. Oh, that's like, this is the kind of like cathartic development for Marc. You almost never think you'd see it, because who is going to take the time to write this character? For 39 issues, we've been building to this. You know, this is what we've been getting to for Marc. Is literally him doing his last debt for Khonshu, doing it the way he is doing it, and just being like, I don't care anymore. You know what? The Moon Knight's dead. Long live Moon Knight. It's all good. We're square. We're done. You can threaten me and you can be a part of this mission, but we're doing things my way. I'm like, yes. Oh, that's cool. Like, I think personally, if you were to never write another Moon Knight comic book ever again, this does satisfy me. Where I'm like, this is like the cathartic ending to the relationship. I think the Lemire run is also like that, but this works too. And I guess kind of like the original Vengeance of the Moon Knight book's a lot like that as well. But I'm happy with this. It looks great. Very different layouts than what we're used to seeing from this run. So that was like interesting to see like that new drastic take on like the actual paneling. but it's really fun. It's really cool. I'm all for this book. I'm glad we had Vengeance of the Moon Knight, just something in the middle to tide us over until Fist of Khonshu. It's pretty interesting. Like, we did something okay here. You know, there's been some misses within this run because of Blood Hunt, but whatever. I'm happy with what we got. So, Vengeance of the Moon Knight, issue number 9, I am going to give a 9 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.